Okay, I'm back. So, not that y'all seeing me leave anyway, but I don't know. My little ring light started doing something, and poof. So the lighting might be a little bit off. Hopefully not too much. But the lighting is gonna be a little bit off, and I do apologize for that. So hopefully I can get this ring thing figured out. But so I believe I stopped on pause. And it literally paused at that point. It was like, okay, sis. Gone. Anyway, so yeah, so GoDaddy, registering your domain. So make sure that you are just registering whatever domain it is that you want. Sorry. Registering whatever domain it is that you are wanting, whether that be for a business right now or later. It really doesn't matter. It's just register it, and so you claim it and have it be yours, because the last thing you want to do is go ahead and register a business. And that's why I said register your domain first. I'm gonna get into registering the business aspect in just a second, but the last thing you really want to do, honestly, is like register your business, get everything going, get your email up and all that other stuff, and then you try to register a domain and somebody already has it. I mean, granted, you can always tweak your domain. I had to do that because I'm saying this because by my mistakes. So I had my MV Couture registered and everything, and then I did GoDaddy domain. Somebody already had MV Couture in another state, and I say that because when you're registering a business, you're registering for your state. So if I register MV Couture, I'm registering MV Couture for Minnesota. I am not registering MV Couture for New York, Michigan, anything like that. Like, I'm legit just doing it for Minnesota, unless I decide to trademark the name and then nobody can use it, and that's a whole different ball game. Like I said, this video is already super long and I don't want to go super in depth and talk y'all ear off. But you know what, that's what y'all came here for anyway, so let me talk. But I'm gonna create some other videos. Like I said, I'm gonna make this a series, and so I'm gonna go in more in depth about those type of things and whatnot. But register your domain. You can easily do that at GoDaddy. If this is your first domain, it'll be like 99 cents. If it's not, then they'll charge you the regular price, you know. But I haven't really seen a domain more than 10 bucks. So y'all see me just doing all kinds of stuff to this wig right here, boy. It's all in the way today. But yeah. So anywho, once you got that registered, you want to go ahead and now outside of the domain, you want to go and get your legal stuff taken care of. So whenever it comes to the actual structure of a business, I never like to tell people what to do. I did register my businesses as an LLC, but and that's a limited liability company. I never like to tell people like register an LLC, because there's many different structures to register in your business. So you have an LLC, you got an S Corp, you got a C Corp. Like, there's so many different structures, okay? Seriously, it is. So make sure that you research every single last structure you possibly can. I'll go ahead and I'll add the website to where you can like look up different structures of businesses, see what works best for your online business, and then you know, pay for that structure once you go ahead and register it with IRS. Nope, that would be the Secretary of State. So you're going to register all of that with the Secretary of State. So you'll register your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever, with the Secretary of State. It should be the same thing for every single state. It should be Secretary of State that you're registering your business as. Once you go to the Secretary of State for your state, make sure that you put in the search bar register business if it's not automatically on that home page. I know for Minnesota, it is right on that home page. So it's right there in your face. You can definitely call and have somebody assist you with registration if you need, but it should be pretty self-explanatory. It's just more so you putting your name, address, things like that, what you're doing business as, and then usually, I know when I did mines, I automatically got the documents. If you want a mailed copy, they will mail you a copy, but I got mine right away on the net, printed it, and bam, I was good to go. So no biggie there. I will say that once you register your structure, or you can register like an assumed name, which I did that as well. I did both actually for MV Couture. You don't have to do both, but I did both. So an assumed name is basically just saying you're doing business as. So it was just me saying my name's Martika, which Zandra's my middle name, by the way, because y'all probably gonna be like, sis, you've been telling us Zandra this whole time. We're going by Zandra. That's my middle name. But whatever. So I put my legal name, first and last name, registering, and then go ahead and put Envy Couture because that's what I'm doing business as. Okay, that's an assumed name. And then, you know, so you don't have to do that. If you can only do that if you're not sure what the structure of your business is going to be right away, and if you're still seeking legal assistance when it comes to registering the structure of your business. If you don't know where to seek legal assistance that could possibly be free to you, then make sure that you check out score.com. They have so many different chapters for different states, you know, so they got the Minnesota chapter, the Chicago chapter, the whatever chapter, okay? But I'll link that below as well so you can check that out. They also assist with business plans and stuff like that. I'm gonna make that a whole different video, but like I said, those things I'm gonna get more in depth about in my actual online classes that I offer as a coach, and all the links to that will be in the description below. But so once you get your domain, you're good to go. You get your business registered with the Secretary of State. You want to go ahead and make sure that you do what is called an article of corporation. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it's called in every state, but I'll go ahead and tag that below. Everything I'm talking about will be tagged below, so check the description box. But yeah, so article of corporation, and you have to have that done, if I'm not mistaken, within 30 days of registering your business, and that's just so that they know that this is a legit operating business. Okay, so all that is making sure that you publish your business in an article in the newspaper, or maybe you have like a community newsletter. But actually, when you do, because if I'm not mistaken, when I did my LLC, it was actually on the back. Like on the back of the document that they gave me, it was like, make sure you go ahead and do the article of corporation, and these are the certain, you know, news people that, or newspaper, whatever, that you can actually do it with. And it's a small fee, it's not too much, but you got to do it, and to make sure that you solidify it. So make sure you get that done. Once you're done doing all that, you want to proceed over to the irs.gov, get your tax ID done, and get your EIN completed. The tax ID you will need if you plan on buying wholesale. So tax ID is literally the same thing as a wholesaler's ID. Every single legit wholesaler will ask you for that. They're going to ask you for your actual business registration, and they're going to ask you for the wholesaler's or reseller's permit. That is the same as your tax ID. That's what I've been using for years. That's what it's called. It's called a tax ID here. So I would hear everybody saying reseller's permit, reseller's permit, reseller's permit. It is a tax ID. They're asking for that number. They're verifying, because they are a legit business, and they have to verify that you have the ability to resell these clothing that you're buying at a wholesale price. And obviously that applies to taxes and so many things. So here's why I don't want to get too in depth about taxes. And in fact, what I would love for you guys to do is, once you're registering your tax ID, make sure that you actually call the number on the website, because there's a number on there for businesses that are registering their tax ID. Call that number up. Make sure that you talk to a representative. It is free. A lot of times we miss those little free things that can save us so much more money in the end. The last thing you want to do is go ahead and start this business and start selling things, and you don't charge the right taxes because you didn't put the right codes in, because you do have to put certain codes in. So you're paying taxes, transportation, like it's some crazy stuff. Like when I did it, I was like, transportation? I ain't driving no car. Like, I mean, for my business specifically, right? Like I was on some other stuff, but you pay taxes for those things, okay? You pay like county taxes, like, you know, it really just depends on your state. So in the state of Minnesota, we do not pay taxes on clothing here. However, there is such a thing called sales and use tax, which you'll take a class on, and I recommend that you do that, and they'll offer it. They'll let you know the webinars. It's free, yet again. They'll let you know when the webinars are being hosted if you're on the Minnesota irs.gov. I don't know about other states, sorry, but I'll investigate it a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it should be the same thing. But at least here in the state of Minnesota, you have to go ahead, and I would recommend looking at that sales and use webinar, so that you're familiar with sales and use tax if you're not already familiar with it. That way you are familiar with the taxes that you have to pay. You're responsible for it. So you know, even though we don't charge tax up front, so I can't legally charge tax on each piece of clothing that I sell, I still have to pay that for my taxes at the end of the year or quarterly or whenever I decide to pay taxes, okay? I want that to be a separate video because that's super lengthy, talking about how you pay your taxes, how to really set it up, things to pay attention to, things like that, how to keep a handle on your books and whatnot. I feel like that's a completely different video. Is just really in depth, and I don't want this to go over your head because it's a lot starting a business. I think it's just it's more tedious than anything. It's the little steps more so. So make sure you talk to someone about the tax ID. Take the sales and use tax. If your state charged tax for clothing, then you already know you're charging that tax up front. There are states that do that, and it doesn't even have to be specific to clothing. It could be anything. So you just want to make sure you're paying the right taxes. You want to make sure you're putting the right codes in when you are registering for that tax ID that's associated with your business. That is literally your business social security number, okay? And when you use that number to pay your taxes and so on and so forth, you want to make sure that everything is legit, because believe me, they will come and find you if you owe them their coins. The IRS don't play about their money. We know that. So, outside of that, okay, you can do the EIN. That's an extra step. A lot of people don't do in the beginning because they don't have employees. That's totally optional and totally up to you. It is something I did because I like to get things done out of the way ahead of time. And it just worked out very smoothly for me personally. So hopefully I got everything all up in there. I don't think that I forgot anything. I talked about making sure you research. I talked about making sure and research the culture, research the customers, the audience, and different businesses. I talked about name, picking a domain, registering your domain. Your domain is what you're going to use for your website. There are so many different website providers. I'll go ahead and tag them below. I did not talk about website providers in this video because I want to talk about it in another video. This is a whole series, okay? But I'll tag a few just so you can research, play around with them, use the free trials. Like, all of these things are to your advantage, so you can, I don't even know what that is. So you can get familiar with the website, familiar with, you know, how to apply the different templates and things like that. Like, play around with it. Starting a business should be fun, and I think we add so much stress to it that we miss the fun parts of things because we need everything to be so perfect, and that's just not it, right? Like, you need to feel the good vibes, all of the good vibes. So be happy about this. Like, it's a major deal. Register with the Secretary of State. Go ahead and do your article of incorporation and solidify it in an article, a newspaper, something like that. And then make sure you go ahead and, you know, get your tax ID and stuff like that with the irs.gov. And before I wrap up, I definitely, I'm not going to talk about wholesale and cost in this video. I'll do that in a whole different thing because some people who's watching this that's starting an online business may not even be focused on the wholesale aspect. It just, you know, businesses are varying. That's why I'm not talking about anything specific, as I said earlier in the video. But one thing that I would recommend is getting your social media platforms ready to go. Start thinking about what type of aesthetic you're looking for. You already know the audience. You already know the theme. You already know the culture, which means it's time to start thinking about the aesthetics. That's even if you don't have inventory on hand, because the last thing you want to do is pump out inventory, and the last thing you want to do is push out your products or services and nobody bites, okay? Start building that audience. I talk about it a lot in the beginning, and I'm going to reiterate it right now, okay? Like, get the Facebook page, get the Instagram page, get those things flowing because those things are free. So get them going. Start inviting people, start playing around with the different aesthetics and different looks, and then that way when you have your actual products and you're ready to display them to the world and have people buy it, you already have people to promote it to. So that's Pinterest, that's Facebook, that's Instagram. That is Poshmark. You know, Poshmark, you sell more than clothes on Poshmark. There's so many different things. Email list is a big deal. Start bringing up their anticipation because that's what that research phase is supposed to include. And so many business owners miss that. They get so fixated on having the perfect product, on having the perfect services, on having the perfect website, on having everything move seamlessly that they forgot that they have nobody to talk to. Like, start building that email list. Get the email list going. I use MailChimp. My email list is growing massively now for both businesses, so I'm going to have to transfer to another platform. But MailChimp is free, yet again. And I'm going to link it below, okay? Because I'm trying to give you guys as much. It's hard in the beginning as a business owner because you broke. I'm sorry. Like, you just don't have money like that unless you balling. and you starting a business rolling, then hey, then I assume you wouldn't be watching me. You would have paid somebody to help you do all this, okay? However, make sure you get that email list going. Check out MailChimp. Use MailChimp. MailChimp is the bomb. You can create landing pages, all that stuff that's kind of blowing over a lot of y'all head right now, but I can talk about that in another video yet again. But start building the momentum. Start getting people excited. Start getting people familiar with their brand. Start getting people familiar with the look. And then it's not familiar when you throw your products or services out there. I wish you all the best in starting your business and all your endeavors. Best wishes, much love, and of course, plenty of success. See you next time.